Hey, how you doing, people? Today I'm going to show you how to fix a slow leak on your tire. I have a 2008 Toyota Prius here, and I got a slow leak going on in my tire. Um, the low pressure light has been on for several days. I checked out the pressure; it was like 25 pounds of pressure. So apparently, I have a slow leak. So probably going to be forced to take the tire off and put it in submerge it in water so I could find the leak and plug the tire. Additionally, I may be able to take a soapy water solution and spray the tire down and maybe find the leak and not have to take the tire off. But sometimes when you have a slow leak, you're better off just taking the tire off and submerging it in water and looking for an air bubble to find the leak. It's a more assured way of finding the leak. But maybe I'll try the spraying it down with soap and water first. See if I could find it easily. That way I don't have to remove the tire. All right, give me a minute and I'll get back. All right, people, we're back. Took a look at the tire briefly. I couldn't see any screws or nails or such in it that's creating the slow leak. So I jacked the car up and I chocked the front wheel up. I just got the jack under there temporarily. I'm not getting underneath the car. I'm just going on the side of it. So and I made a soapy water solution. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll spray it down and we'll see if we see the leak. All right, as I said, I jacked the car up. I got a floor jack underneath the front tire, using that as a chuck, a wheel chuck. I should have something better, but that's what I have for the moment. In the back of the car here, I got the car raised up on the floor jack. Like I said, if I was gonna get underneath the car, I would have it jacked up all the way with the floor jack on either side, but for this I don't feel it's necessary. So let's take a look at the tire, spray it down, and see if we could find the leak. The sun's a little bright today, but at any rate, here's the tire. And as I turn the tire, I'm trying to look to see if I see a nail or a screw or something, or some kind of cut in the tire. I wasn't really able to see anything penetrating the tire. You know, sometimes it's really hard to tell, like if you have a little piece of gravel or something like this, to see if that's where you have a puncture, you know. That's why I was stating earlier, sometimes with a slow leak, it's very difficult to find it, so sometimes you're better off taking the tire off. But I'm going to give it a shot, spraying some soapy water on there and see if I see the leak. All right, so basically, you know, you're going to take a spray bottle. I filled it up. I put some car wash soap in there that I had handy. You could use any kind of soap you have, laundry detergent, dish soap, whatever you got. So then I'm just going to spray the tire down like this, and then you're going to look to see if you see any bubbles forming on the tire. Let me go around the tire a little bit and I'll see if I can find the leak. All right, people, we're back. I sprayed the soap water solution around the tire and I can't find anything to be bubbling to indicate where the slow leak is. Here's the tire there, and like I said, I've gone around the entire tire and I don't see anything bubbling, which is going to force me to take the tire off the car and submerge it in a bucket of water. That way I'll be able to find the leak. Sometimes you may have a leak in the valve stem, so it's a good idea to spray the valve stem. Alright, here we go, people. So I'm back, and I loosened up the lug nuts on the car. Got a little better setup going with my jack and the jack stand. Jacked the car up properly. Got my jack stand under there in case the jack fails. But coming around back to this side, as I was stating earlier, sometimes you may have a slow leak where the tire meets the bead of the rim. I didn't think that I'd really have an issue there because I didn't hit like a curb or nothing. Sometimes that happens if you hit a curb and you pinch the tire against the rim, or a bad pothole or something that's going to pinch the tire against the rim. But at any rate, I checked it out anyways when I pulled the hubcap off. Spray around the tire with the soap solution, and I'm not seeing any bubbles coming off of it. So if you had an air leak there, you would see some bubbles popping up right here in between the tire bead and the rim. Alright, so I went around there, I didn't see anything. So I'm still going to proceed to take the tire off and submerge it in a bucket of water. Then I'll be able to tell exactly where the leak is coming from. Okay. Alright, people, we're back in action. I took the tire off and I have it in a wheelbarrow filled with water. If was something available that I could fill up with water and be large enough to stick the tire in. Alright. So now that I have the tire in the water, what I'm going to do is stand the tire up like so, leave it submerged in the water, and then what you do is you wait and see if you see any bubbles appearing. Alright. I went around the entire tire and I didn't find any bubbles. So I was like, oh man, what am I going to do now? There's a little bit of the soap residue on there from when I sprayed the tire down with the soapy water. But you would still see the bubble pretty prominently. So at any rate, as I went around the tire, I spun the tire around like this in the tub, and as I was going around, I didn't find anything. So then as I was sitting there staring at it, I noticed that right on the valve stem, even though I sprayed it earlier with the soapy water, the valve stem is actually leaking. Excuse my video here. Try to zoom in on that and I'll give you a shot of there's actually a slow leak on the valve stem. You see those couple bubbles coming off of it? So my valve stem is leaking, even though it's like a tiny little bubble. Over time that's going to give you a low tire, and as I stated, it was a slow leak. So now I'm going to have to investigate and see if I'm able just to tighten that valve stem up a little bit to resolve the issue, or maybe I have to get a new valve stem. And it's a little more complicated because that valve stem is it has the TPMS tire pressure monitoring system in it. There's a little device inside the rim to tell you when you have low tire pressure. So I'm not really too familiar with those. I've seen them a couple times, but I'm going to try tightening down on this nut a little bit and see if that resolves my issue. If not, I may have to go to the tire shop and get them to take care of that for me, maybe replace it or something. I'm not really sure. Alright, so that's how you find a slow leak in your tire. If you can't find it by spraying it down with soapy water, unfortunately the best thing to do is take the tire off and submerge it in water. It's a little more work, but you'll be able to find the leak, because I wasn't going to go with having my tire be low every week and have to put air in it. That's crazy, you know. All right, so let me see if tightening up that valve stem works out or not, and I'll get back to you. Alrighty. All right, people. So I took the tire down to the tire shop, and the guy put a valve kit in it for me. Apparently, with the tire pressure monitoring system, is one unit, and there's a valve stem that goes through it, and they're able to just change that one piece, just a valve stem, instead of changing the whole tire pressure monitoring system unit. So hopefully that's the end of my problems. I changed that, and my tires should be good now. Had that not been the case of my valve stem, if that wasn't the case of my valve stem leaking, I probably would have had a nail or some kind of a nail or a screw or some type of puncture in my tire, which I would have then taken care of by using a tire plug kit, which is something like this over here. I'm not sure if you're really familiar with a tire plug kit, but they're pretty easy to use. You take out whatever is in your tire, pull that out. So two different tools in there. One tool to remount the hole, then another tool to insert the rubber plug thing they give you, or the it's not really a rubber plug. It's like I don't know, a rubber strip or something, whatever you want to call it. Which is one of these items over here. You bend that over, put that in your tool, and then that gets stuck into the tire, and then that takes care of your leak. Hey? All right, so I hope this helped you out, and I'd just like to dedicate this video to my friend Joey Logano. Yeah. All right, good luck, y'all.